Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are making a paleo fudgy chocolate cake, and it has avocado and lots of healthy fats in it, so it's very good for you and quite low in sugar. So the first thing you're going to do is preheat your oven to 325 and get that nice and hot while we are making the cake. And we're starting off with eggs. I'm gonna have all the ingredients in the description box below, so don't worry about measurements, but we are putting in 3 large eggs or 4 medium like I have. I use free range eggs because they are healthier, and just get them all into a bowl. And then you gotta give it a good mix. You wanna incorporate it. I should be using a whisk for this, but I always just use a spatula. I don't know why, but yeah, just mix them up really good. And yeah, you want them just like that. Then we're adding in our avocado. So if you don't want to add avocado, or if you don't have any, you can use 1 cup of full fat canned coconut milk, but I didn't have that, so I put avocado instead. So it's a little bit more dense. It's not gonna be as fluffy, but it's gonna be more fudgy. And then we're also adding some coconut oil and honey to this as well. And you want to just pour everything in and then give everything a really good mix. I use organic coconut oil. It's really good, healthy fats. And the honey that I use is a raw honey, but you don't have to since you're baking it anyways. But that's all I had on hand, so I just used raw honey. And it's blurry, I'm sorry, but this is just pure vanilla bean, so I'm adding just a little bit in there for a little bit of extra flavor. And you can use vanilla extract, or you don't have to add it in at all if you don't have any. So give it a good mix, and look at that nice green batter. This cake actually tastes really good. It's more like a brownie than a cake. I'm adding in some coconut sugar, but you can use any sugar that you like here. I use coconut sugar. It's not going to be as sweet, but the frosting that I'm using is sweet, so it's going to kind of balance it out really well. So give that a good mix. Just keep mixing and mixing and mixing, and then we're adding some cocoa powder. This is pure red cocoa powder, so it's the highest fat, and then that's baking soda, and we're also adding some pure sea salt. You want to toss it all in, give it a good mix. So the cocoa powder is very high in antioxidants, really good for the skin, and like I said, I use the red one just because it has the highest fat percentage, so it's the healthiest. I also think it tastes the best, and it has such a beautiful color when the cake bakes. It's nice and dark, so I love this one. And yes, I made a mess, so mix it really slow. The cocoa powder went everywhere, kind of like a bomb. But yeah, mix it really slow. You want to mix this step good, because then once we add the flours, we don't want to over mix. So here's pretty much just almond flour and then a 1/4 cup of coconut flour, and that's about it. If you don't have coconut, just put more almond, and your cake will be more fluffy instead of fudgy, if that makes sense, because coconut flour, sorry, it sucks all the liquid out of the batter. So give it a good mix. You can see how thick it is. You don't want to over mix, but just mix until it's well combined. Look at that, it's like a fudgy brownie. So good. I could just eat it with a spoon if there wasn't raw egg in it. Look at that. Oh, so good. So I basically have a cake tin. If you use a 7-inch cake tin, you can have it like a taller cake when you cut it in half. I only had a 9-inch, so I greased it with some coconut oil, lined it with some parchment paper. Make sure it's the one that where the bottom comes out. So yeah, coconut oil, lined it with some parchment paper, and then transfer that thick fudgy batter into the pan. And like I said, if you use the coconut milk instead of the avocado, it would be a little more runny than thick, but either way, just spread it out so it's nice and even in the pan. It's gonna be so good. Oh my gosh, I could just eat it right now. Look how thick that is. Yeah, it's more, like I said, it's more like a brownie, but yeah, nice and thick. So even it out, and then we're pretty much good to go and put it in the oven. So toss it in your preheated oven, and we are going to be baking it, depending on the ingredients you use, we're baking it for about 45 to 50 minutes. So anywhere between that. It also depends on your oven, but just keep an eye on it. And then for frosting, I'm using Simple Mills organic chocolate frosting. This is made with coconut oil, but because I was too lazy to make my own, but I will leave my recipe for chocolate fudge frosting in the description box below, and it's also paleo. So both of these are paleo options. This is just a cheap version, but like I said, I will leave our actual frosting recipe in the description box below, along with all the cake ingredients too, so you guys can check that out if you don't have access to Simple Mills. But this frosting is really delicious, and it just saves some time. So You can see those kind of like lumpy and thick. So it's because it has coconut oil and it's cold, because I live in Canada and it's cold right now, so it's a little bit harder, but you definitely could like warm it up a little bit to have it like spread a little bit easier so it's not as clumpy. But I actually thought it looked kind of cute when it was clumpy, so I left it, but you definitely could smooth it out. So that is the cake, and I think it looks absolutely delicious and it tastes really good. So I hope you enjoyed my recipe. If you give it a try, please let me know, and if you like videos like this, give this video a thumbs up. I love you all, and I will see you soon. Bye.